We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that.
Oppenheimer is, in my opinion, the greatest film ever to be released on the big screen, and I will never forget my experience watching it. I have seen hundreds of films, ranging from gorgeous, beautiful masterpieces like Napoleon 1927, Whiplash, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and of course, The Green Mile, to actual long stints of unadulterated garbage. And out of all of them, none of them have ever quite come close to what I felt when watching Oppenheimer. So for those who have been living under a rock for the past year, Oppenheimer is a 2023 historical biopic directed by Christopher Nolan. It was highly regarded by critics and audiences, winning 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and was the 3rd highest grossing movie of the year, coming in at $975 million. It is the 6th highest grossing rated R film and spawned a cultural phenomenon with Barbie. After my 10th watch, I can honestly say that it never bores me. It's never background noise. Every time I watch it, I'm always invested. To most people, biopics in themselves as a genre are really iffy. A lot of them are very bad. But I find biopics to be genuinely enjoyable experiences, and this is no exception. That being said, there are a lot of biopics that are bad, like Hawking. Oh boy, when I tell you to go see a movie, it better be Hawking. When I tell you Hawking is the greatest film I've ever laid my eyes on, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, it is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Oppenheimer is very different from most biopics. The man himself is the most important person of the 20th century. Of course, deserves a movie. And telling you Christopher Nolan cooked would be an incredible understatement. To me, this is his magnum opus. His direction in this is honest to God perfect. The way he was able to convey Oppenheimer's thinking without using words is honestly shocking. Nothing short of cinematic brilliance. One of the many things that make Oppenheimer great is Nolan's ability to immerse the audience in the film's historical setting. From the costumes to the set design, every detail feels meticulously researched and authentic, transporting viewers back to the 1930s and 40s. The film captures the tension and urgency of the Manhattan Project perfectly. Cillian Murphy 100% deserved that Oscar. His acting is insane. I don't want this video to be a recap of the film because that is really pointless. It doesn't do much. So I'm just going to tell you the most important parts in detail. So, spoilers, I guess. I mean, it's history, but still see the movie, please, before this part. At the beginning of the movie, Christopher Nolan instantly sets the tone, as sounds of an earthquake caused by stomping starts to rattle your ears, and Nolan reflects the myth of Prometheus on the disturbed scientist, reading, quote, "Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. For this he was chained to a rock and tortured for all eternity." This is the idea for the whole film. an obvious juxtaposition as Oppenheimer creates a weapon of divine proportions, and his guilt over the lives that were lost due to his creation tortures him over the remaining years of his life. But the movie doesn't exactly play out like this. It's told in 3 separate parts, one being Oppenheimer's life during the war and during the creation of the bomb, the other being the 1954 hearing for Oppenheimer's security clearance called Fission, and the last section of the film, the 1959 hearing for Louis Strauss called Fusion. Telling a story like this is a commonality for a Christopher Nolan film. It's how he tells the story in most of his films, whether it be the literal approach in Interstellar of time being a loop, or the metaphorical version present in his films like Memento and this one. Time is infinite, and among infinity there is bound to be repetition. Wars will continue to start, continue to kill, and lives of fighting soldiers and innocent bystanders will be lost. And it'll happen again and again and again, a metaphorical hourglass being turned over countless times. But it will end. The destruction of the human race is inevitable. This we know, but it won't be because of a catastrophic event, a meteor, a volcano, or a supernova. It'll be our fault. Whether it be nuclear, mutually assured destruction, or our air made so dirty we can't breathe. We will be the ones to put the nail in our coffin. That is the main eternal conflict with Robert J. Oppenheimer. He fears that he is the one to blame, that he is the one that gave humanity the power to destroy themselves. It is a theme more relevant now than ever. While nuclear bombs haven't been used in wartime since Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they've most certainly been made and tested. They've since been swapped with much more powerful H-bombs and have gotten larger and more destructive in scale since then. There's a particular line in the film that is quite important, as I will show you here. Out of all subjects, science is my favorite, and no matter what anyone says, it is a form of art. And for centuries, mankind has been trying to make things to fix their problems, to make themselves immortal, whether it be a great statue or national achievement. Science is like art because the best scientists love to make things, whether it's an idea or an experiment that makes something new, old, or different. Artists are the same way. They make an idea, they draw it, write it, film it. Maybe that idea will help someone. Perhaps it'll change someone's life. This is Van Gogh's Starry Night. Whether you knew who painted it or not, you've seen this painting. Everyone has. It's by far one of the most popular paintings to have ever been produced. And now it's worth over $100 million. The best artists did things that were different from what other people did. Much like scientists, science was a new thing centuries ago. People then found it common sense that everything revolved around us and not the other way around. Science was stupid to them. People who pushed the boundaries of science, that pushed the boundaries of art, went unnoticed because people didn't like what was different. I point out Van Gogh because most paintings around that time look like this or this. But Starry Night and Van Gogh's paintings in general are not realistic. They don't look like real depictions of what the world looks like. It's a vision. Everyone sees the world differently. So what does this have to do with that quote from Miles Bohr in the movie? Well, everyone told Van Gogh that he was a bad artist, and everyone told Galileo that he was wrong, and that he was stupid. How they imprisoned him for thinking differently. So why did they keep doing it? They didn't do it because it made them money. They did it because they felt it, because they felt for it, because they loved what they did. They saw that there was something greater beyond what normal human eyes can see, even though no one else thought that they could do good. That is what that quote is trying to say. That is what that quote means, arguably the most important line in the movie, which is saying a lot in a 3-hour biopic. And now would be a good time to mention that this line is complemented exponentially by Ludwig van Goorens's incredible score. While making the bomb, Oppenheimer tries to pass off the intention of what the bomb will be used for, and sees the making of it as merely an academic endeavor, full well knowing what the bomb will be used for. He is unable and unwilling to accept that fact. Eventually, it all cultivates into one power-driving scene in the auditorium, where all of this turmoil collides, where that fact becomes undeniable. But the damage was done. The blood of nearly 200,000 innocent people was on his hands. Even if he wasn't the one to drop it, he made it. This realization clashes with his morality, making the auditorium feel like a bomb drop. The scene is a surreal and horrifying one, with the audience vibrating in the blinding white light of an atomic blast, complemented by a faint scream shrouded by cheering and stomping. The scene itself is a hard pill to swallow, but it pales in comparison to the best. At the very end of the film, we finally get to hear what Oppenheimer said to Einstein. What got Strauss so obsessed. Finally, after all this time, he knows what he has done. He has created something so destructive, so violent, and so obscenely horrible that it ensures the end of the world. He knows that his creating of the bomb was the beginning of the end. No movie has ever been so influential to my life. I remember sitting there in the theater and the movie had just barely started, and I had known with all of my heart what I wanted to do after college. To me, in my opinion, there will never be a greater film than Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. I spent a long time trying to figure out what would be the movie for my first video. I do plan on making more, so please subscribe. And I do have a letterbox. My name is Bruce Grimes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.